And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. And I'm by myself again. Now, unfortunately, Shoulder's couldn't be here. Some family things came up. My godson, his son had a baseball banquet, so probably getting some of those awards for him. Maybe he's getting a coach's award because he coaches the coach pitch, whatever league it would be for my godson. So you're here with me. I'm really excited about today. Got bare knuckle boxing later tonight. I talked a little bit about that on Thursday. Hope you guys listen to it. I'll be live tweeting it as well, so hopefully you guys will be on there and we could interact a little bit. And but today, the Friday or the Saturday show, whichever time day we come out with, it's always about the major sports. Hockey and baseball, NFL, that type of stuff. Some of the things that we got to talk about today as the pass interference rule finally is finalized for the NFL. Some big hockey trades. We had the NHL draft last night, and even there was a huge NHL trade today involving my Flyers rivalry, the New Jersey Devils. Our good friend King is pumped about the trade, but we'll get to that. Before all that, head over to Twitter, follow the show at ST Sports Podcast, follow my personal one at Jimbo ST Sports. Head over to YouTube, subscribe there. If you guys can't find us on iTunes for some reason, or Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn, or if you just want to throw it up on the TV, you got some people over, you want to listen to it, you throw it up there. And we do have some shirts in the making. We're almost done with some of our logos, so we're gonna have some shirts for the show over on Teespring. I'll be posting all that stuff on Twitter, and head over to Facebook as well. You could like and share our page there. We'll put the links there as well. But to kick off the show, I want to kind of do a new little mini segment here, and what it's gonna be called is
You're not really that stupid.
Award. I think that was Jim Calhoun during a press conference one time, and I found the clip and I was like, that's actually pretty funny. I could use that sometime. So for this week, I actually found 3 different stories that these are just dumbasses. That really, you got to ask, you're really not that stupid, are you? The first story that happened this past week was the Washington Nationals pitcher Mark Scherzer suffered a broken nose during batting practice. Now, you say, how do you break his nose during batting practice? He was practicing bunting. And if you guys see the video, I'll find the video again, I'll put it up on Facebook and Twitter, but he's nonchalantly just bunting the ball, not really actually going through the motions of how to bunt the ball, and just came off the bat the wrong way and right up to his nose, broke his nose. He was able to pitch Wednesday. I think that's when he was scheduled to pitch, or I'm sorry, Tuesday, because this happened on Tuesday. But he had a nice black eye underneath, or black and blue mark underneath his eye there. Sorry, I've been sick all week. The other story came out of Colorado, and this one just is disgusting. It was a Little League game. About 20 or so parents got into a huge brawl over an umpire calling balls and strikes. Now, we always see parents, yell and complain about the ball strikes or safe and out. But the problem was, with this situation, was the umpire was 13 years old. Maybe getting paid $15-20 to ump the game. And these morons want to take it so seriously. Like, first off, you guys aren't playing the game. These are, 12 years old playing the game. And they're playing it because they love playing it. They know there's no contract there yet. There's no scholarship there yet. And you guys are going to act like morons and do all this. And, the video's out there. I know the police are still looking for some of the parents to obviously arrest and fine or give citations, whatever they gotta do. And if you do see the video, if you do know someone in there, please contact the authorities and help them out. Get these morons arrested so they could learn a lesson or two. And then, unfortunately, the third story here involves the former Boston Red Sox slugger David Ortiz. Now, the story happened when I was on vacation, and he was shot in the back while being down in the Dominican Republic. It sounded pretty bad. Shot him in the back, right through the stomach. It was right through and through. But had to have a couple surgeries, I believe. He was in stable condition for a few days, and as of yesterday, they upgraded his condition from guarded to good. So, I mean, it is obviously very good that he's recovering, and he's up here in Boston too. And kudos to the Red Sox organization, because they flew him up here with their private plane, private jet, whatever you want to call it. Problem was, it was a mistaken identity. Ortiz is known to obviously go down to the Dominican Republic to visit a lot. He has family and friends down there, and he does walk around a lot without any bodyguards or security. He has even been quoted to say that he thinks that his fans love him so much that they will protect him from any harm or this and that. And you know what? Kind of did happen. I mean, he did get shot, but the guys that shot Ortiz were found 2 blocks away getting the crap beat out of them by Ortiz fans. The thing with this whole situation, there was a total of like 11 people that were involved. They got most of them. They still, I believe, have yet to catch the one that put the call in, basically put the hit out. And all over $7,200. That's what these guys were going to get paid. $7,200. Take a step back. The real target was a man that was sitting at the table with Ortiz at that time, at this nightclub that Ortiz has been known to frequent a lot. And the story that was coming out from the DA is that the attempted murder was ordered from the United States by Victor Hugo Gomez, an associate of Mexico's Gulf cartel. Obviously, that's one of the biggest cartels down there. And the reason he put a hit out on a person, which turned out to be he wanted his cousin to be taken care of, quote unquote, because he felt that his cousin turned on him back in 2011 and basically wanted to shut him up. The story I read, one of the 11 people took a picture of where Ortiz and the cousin was sitting. The picture was very foggy and not really focused, so you couldn't really see that good of a picture of who they had to go after. And unfortunately, Ortiz was the unfortunate one. But like I said, he's up in Boston. Sounds like he's doing a lot better. Still has a little bit of way to go. Out of all these three, like I said, it has to be the parents at that Little League game. You know, they're not even, like I said, they're not even playing the game. My boys, when they play their games, I'll give them little tips between innings and everything, and then I'll go back in my seat, sit down, and cheer them. I'm not yelling at them or scolding them because they swung the bat a little too high or a little too low. They're kids. Let them play. So with that being said, parents from the Colorado Little League, you are this week's
You know I go that stupid, don't you?
award winner. Moving on, we're going to a little NFL talk here. Like I said, they got came out this past week that they finally finalized the pass interference rule. The NFL's competition committee finalized its new rule Thursday for reviewing pass interference, opting against several suggested tweaks and upholding the wording owners originally approved back in March. What the rule is now for this coming season, coaches will be able to challenge pass interference calls or no calls up until the 2-minute warning for both halves. In those final 2 minutes of each half or in overtime, on-site replay officials will be responsible for stopping the game to review pass interferences. As of right now, this rule change is only for 2019, which then after the season, the owners will decide if they want to keep it or to get rid of it for next season, which they did that with, I think it was the onside kick rules, the extra point rules. You know, they tried it out for 1 year, and then next year, the following year, they finally kept it in there. I'm okay with this. I know the coaches wanted it, the wording changed a little bit because they were afraid it may affect game planning when it comes to timeouts, because the same rules apply. If you have no timeouts, you can't challenge this pass interference or no call unless it's in the last 2 minutes of a half or overtime. But you know, back in March when they came out that they were going to finally adjust the rule, I said, how many games have you as a Giants fan or a Patriots fan, Steelers fan, whatever team you root for, have left that game, win or lose or tie, and say, well, you know, that should have been pass interference. They should have challenged. They should be able to challenge that. Well, here we go. Now you're able to. I don't think it's going to affect the speed of the game. I don't think it's going to slow it down as much. You may, if you do have any of these challenges, which I don't think it's going to be as many as people are afraid is going to happen, just because like the coaches are worried about the timeouts, and you only have a number of challenges. You can't challenge every pass interference. And to address the concerns over the stoppages, the committee has instructed replay officials to use a strict criteria for stopping the game to review pass interference. They said in a video release on Twitter, the NFL said there must be clear and obvious evidence that pass interference foul may or may not have occurred in order to stop the game for review. So again, it's still going to be on the refs. This might be more of a let's just please the coaches or please the teams to have this rule in there. So, going to be curious to see, will this help any of the outcomes of the game, or Is it going to slow the game down even more now? We're just going to have to wait and see. I think we're down to roughly 70 days till the NFL season, which I'm pretty pumped about because I'm more pumped about college football coming in. They start like a week or two earlier. Kind of get that little taste in your mouth to get started, and then you got the NFL season right around the corner. But I'm excited. I'm excited for my Eagles with Deshaun Jackson. Hopefully Philly extends Malcolm Jenkins. If you guys head over to bellyup.com, I have an article over there about should the Eagles trade Malcolm Jenkins for Giovanni Clowney, or should they pay him? So head over there, give it a read. Send me some of your comments, opinions. I know some of the Eagles groups, I got pretty harsh remarks. But I was actually surprised. Speaking of the Eagles fans, because half of them were, flat out, pay the guy. He's our heart and soul of our defense. And the other half said, if he's going to be this way, trade him. He's older now, trade him. So I'm curious to see what the rest of you guys have to say about it. So head over there. Also, over at Belly Up, we restarted our forum there too. So if you want to head over there, there's different sites, MMA, college football, even video. There's a video game tab there that if you want to start a thread or reply to anything, so head over there and check that out as well. And then 2 weeks ago, kind of moving on here. 2 weeks ago, St. Louis Blues won their first Stanley Cup. I got to watch that game, and I was so happy because it's not that I don't like the Bruins. It's just I don't like Brad Marchand. And to see him look so disgusted when the game finally was over, it made me happy. Just like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it made me so happy to see King upset that he's got to hear me say that we won a Super Bowl ring now. Love you, King. But since then, though, and like I said, congratulations to the Blues. That goalie, Jesus, dude, you were lights out. Some of the saves you were making. And even in that Game 7, the one that I think it was like second period, early on in the second period, the Bruins shot, and it hit him right underneath the armpit, and he just squeezed it underneath his armpit and didn't go in. I'm like, you know what? That right there is not a good save. That's just pure luck, and the hockey gods are looking you guys the right way. The moons are aligning the right way, and sure enough, you guys pulled it out, so once again, congratulations. But since then, there's been some movement with players and players staying. Talking about my Flyers here. Our GM Fletcher, he traded for the rights to negotiate with Kevin Hayes, which I thought was a ballsy move. He did that, say about 2-3 weeks ago. July 1st is the start of the free agency period, so he only had a month and a half to hammer out a deal to keep him. Otherwise, if he would have hit free agency, we would have been out that draft pick. Luckily, it came through. A lot of fans believe we overpaid this guy. 7 years, $50 million. I looked at his stats. He's a 20 goal scorer. I think last year he had 19, 50 so points, I believe. So he's not no scrub. He's not a first liner. I think we see him as our number 2 center. Which again, I like this move for the simple fact that it keeps Patrick on the third line as a center and help develop him a little bit more. He's starting to seem like he's not developing as fast as we want, but he is showing signs of development. So it gives him another year or 7, whatever it would be, to develop a little bit more, and so I like that move. The one move that I was a little upset because I liked this guy for the Flyers was we traded Radko Gudas to Washington for Niskanen. I like Gudas. It's just, he had that old school style play still. Yeah, you want to say he's dirty. Yeah, I bash Brad Marchand for how dirty he is, but first off, Gudas don't go around punching people in the back of the head and skate away. That's just a bitch move. And he's not afraid to get into fights. Yeah, Gudas. So, pick up Niskanen. We also picked up Braun, I think his name was. So we're getting a little bit more veteran defensive players, which I think will help Gostisbehere rebound from these past 2 years. I hope we keep him still on the team because I still think he has talent to be a top defenseman. Then you got Provov back there. You can take a little bit of pressure off him with these moves. The one guy that was rumored to possibly come to Philly was Shoulder's one of Shoulder's favorite players, Carl Hagelin. He is staying with the Capitals for 4 more years, signed a 4-year contract extension. Erik Karlsson signed an 8-year extension with San Jose. I had a feeling he was going to stay. I didn't think he would ever hit free agency. I know he kind of hinted at it, but I know that was one guy that the Flyers were supposedly behind closed doors looking to make a big push for. And then this trade that I'm about to talk about, I was surprised. The Pittsburgh Penguins sent Ali Mata to the Blackhawks for Cahoon and a 2019 5th-round pick. Again, looking at some of the Penguins fans, they don't like this move. I thought Mata was a decent player, and to only get a 5th-round pick with Cahoon, I'm curious to see what the Penguins are thinking. Maybe they know something coming up with the free agency, or they're going to bring some of these younger guys from Wilkes-Barre Penguins up to the big squad. So we'll have to see. The big major trade that did happen today that I touched on earlier about King, our good friend King, being happy. PK Subban was traded to the New Jersey Devils for 2 players and 2 draft picks. I think it was 2 seconds. It was a second and a third. That's what it was for next year's draft. So it's basically the Devils just raped the Predators. They got a steal here. So the Devils, and then Devils with the NHL draft last night. They drafted Jack Hughes. They're looking tough this year. As long as, and like I said to King, it's the old saying: as long as they can stay healthy. That's the thing. I know Subban was out for some games last year. Taylor Hall was out for a few games. So if they stay healthy, they could definitely make the playoffs and even compete for the cup. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. I mean, we're obviously 2-3 months away from training camp or preseason to really start up. So, and at the NHL Awards, they announced, EA Sports has announced that Austin Matthews will be on the cover of NHL 20. Now, me and Shoulders, we play a lot of NHL, EA Sports, games. We had a couple teams together, and I like it. I like that they're bringing back the Chell. And kind of unlocking different shirts, jackets, all that stuff. I know some people were critical about that, feeling like they might be trying to go with the 2K, the NBA 2K type style. But I'm okay with it. You could do that on your own. And when you're playing with a team, you still have your regular hockey, uniform. So, but I think that's going to be it for this week because it's getting close to fight time. BKFC 6, I know Bellator is on earlier. UFC's on tonight. So, before I go, like I said, head over to Twitter. Follow us on there at ST Sports Podcast. Follow my personal one at Jimbo ST Sports. Head over to BellyUp, sports.com. Take a look at some of the articles. Look up my articles. Get my articles a read. Let me know what you think about them. Head over to their forum. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, TuneIn, all those wonderful platforms. So until next week, this is your good friend Jimbo, signing out.